Man, I missed that banger.
Yeah, that is such great intro music. Really,
I know, right?
we made that a race or something. It's
Oh, yeah.
over here. You're actually standing, right?
I know, right? Look, I'm pacing. You will see coming in and out of the frame. So,
I saw you going from left to right.
with a very funny mug.
Nice. I'm completely teamed today. There you go.
I know. I have that one. I like the water bottle with the big mouth.
Yeah, that's somewhere downstairs. I do have the this one as well. I got a whole collection of those things, right? It's I can put my water up in almost everything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
I have one of those as well. This one is bad.
Yeah, it's and my wife really hates the outside. So when you go over it,
the cork is bad.
Oh yeah, it will leak in your bag. So now we complain about free stuff.
How are you doing, my friend? It's been forever. I had to replace you with another Dutch.
Really? How was that?
Yeah. So we had Jan Bakker. I don't know if you caught up yet. We had Jan Bakker. Yeah. He came for a couple of weeks and he basically redid the entire Power App for temporary access pass, and it motivated him to get a series of blogs. So we already have redone this one in our internal demos. Jan has done an amazing job with the Power App. So if you want to build your own, follow his blogs. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Twitter. Come by his blog post. Yeah, that was
at
really
Jan Bakker _.
We can put it in the on screen somewhere. Yes. I just need to figure. Yeah. I forgot how this tool works.
I know. So I was poking a fun that I had to replace a Dutch with a Dutch.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're just gonna start easy.
Let's do a little bit of small talk. What were you doing? What did you do for your vacay, man?
I created vlogs of my a vlog. I did all kinds of video recordings with my phone.
Vlogs. Okay.
Vlogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
There's a really easy app which you can use on your phone to just make a montage of everything.
Yeah, it's called TikTok. Yes, I know.
Oh no! I had to. That's a good one. No, I used something called InShot, which is the free version actually worked pretty well. But yeah, so now I went on a road trip.
Nice.
I went to Denmark and Sweden, and in Denmark visited Legoland, which no spawn. I can highly recommend. It was really fun. And then in Sweden, we rented close to Stockholm. We rented a small cabin on an island where we stayed for a week, I think. And it was a bit challenging. It was fun. When we arrived at the others, because the island, you can only go to that island by ferry or by rowing boat. And
that sounds like a challenge in the middle of Baltic Sea.
Yeah, so we decided that the rowing boats would be fun with all our suitcases. But then the weather changed, so it was sunny, 25 degrees.
Dude, and then you're Dutch. You should know everything about changing weather.
I know.
If you don't like weather in Netherlands, don't worry about it. It will change in 15 minutes. You should know everything about it. The Baltic Sea is exactly the same.
It was the same over there. So, but we arrived at the spot where the rowing boats were, and it was like, you just think about the rowing boat where you can sit with 3 people, and all our suitcases in like the biggest rain you could imagine, the heaviest rain you could imagine. So we needed to pedal to the other side with all our suitcases. And then there was a little surprise at the other side. To get to the cabin, we needed to go up 3 hills with all our suitcases. And yeah, we had like 3 big suitcases, and then all the groceries, because there's no grocery store on that island. There was challenging, but in the end, the cabin was a lot of fun. And when you took the ferry, which took you to the downtown Stockholm in 30 minutes, and then the weather was supposed to be like rain all week, but we only had like a few rain showers, and then it was sunny all week. So we had a great time. I actually didn't want to go home, but it's only because we could do the show together that I felt like I need to drive home.
Filthy liar. Liar, pants on fire.
So you're back on the other side of the ocean.
Yes, back at home. back at
Yeah.
home at long last. I'm in my office now, so people
Is that
have
all
seen that
customer
whiteboard.
stuff?
No, it's just swim lanes. It's just swim lanes,
Ah,
regular to do and swim lanes, nothing fancy. They just
nice.
look professional. You can tell because they are so nice. These
Yep.
aren't mine.
Aren't they? For how long are those on there? I do remember the
Yep.
last time I was there, they were already on there.
Yeah, I changed offices, so it's Adam's
Ah.
office.
Okay. So this is a different office. There you go.
Yeah,
But
but yeah,
must be interesting to be back at a real office.
yes, I love it. I miss
Yeah,
the
I
office
get that. Yeah.
5 times a week.
Are there a lot of people already at the office?
No, no, no,
Oh, so you don't have to wait for coffee. You can just.
no.
Oh,
Speaking
nice.
of, I need the caffeine. Times happy time zone, right?
Yeah, happy time zone because now we're not in the same time zone anymore. So for me, it's almost dinner time. You probably just had breakfast.
Yes, I had carrot cake for breakfast.
Ooh, fancy. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the US to open their borders again for people from the Schengen countries because I cannot wait to come and visit and
So
enjoy
yeah,
all the
yeah.
nice food as well. You know the Dutch cuisine, right?
Yes, it's bread and
Everything,
cheese. Yeah,
everything's better than that. So,
yeah, it's bread and cheese. It's a cheese sandwich. That's the Dutch
yeah,
national dish. Yeah.
yeah, almost like that. Yeah. So that's
So for those that are traveling, me coming back to the US, I had the best border crossing experience ever because
oh,
I splurged for global entry.
mhm.
So going through the passport control took me 7 minutes. You just
Wow.
put your hand on a thing, you smile at the camera, they print out a piece of paper for you, you walk to the border crossing guard. I had one person in front of me. I gave it to them. They said, "Show me your passport." I showed them my passport. I took it away and I walked in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really convenient. That's
Oh, dude, it's like the best expensed $90 ever.
yeah, I get that. Wow. I remember the last time Seattle, I needed to wait, I think 2 hours or something
Mhm.
for immigration. That was bad.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
longest ever was, I think, 3 hours in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But then all the machines were broken, which was
Yeah.
also
It
interesting.
it was the best. I cannot recommend it enough.
Nice.
Global entry. It's just basically you have to give your biometric information to the United States government. But me being an immigrant and applying for a green card, they already have it. So
I was about to say that they probably already have it, so why not another time? Yeah, I see AC Wildfire in the chat. Hi, he said so many commercials.
I know
Really?
Twitch has been really bad about the amount of commercials lately. So even if you are not a partner, because 425 Show is not a partner, they just drop commercials in the front as a pre-roll. It's anywhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes.
Wow, that is long. Yeah.
So yeah,
you can try YouTube, but then you probably also have commercials. So
yeah, or you can watch it on either of our Twitters because we're periscoping.
then there are no commercials. So that's another option if you don't like commercials. Those are the other options.
Yeah, we're doing a multi-stream, so it should be fine. But yeah, Twitch has been really bad lately. I've been watching way too much Twitch.
So you're watching way too much commercials as well. Is there
no, I have a pie hole.
Ah, okay. So that's also an option. Maybe another option we should evangelize on the Twitch stream, but
so no, it doesn't matter. It's not a terms of service violation.
Oh,
so basically, you deploy a Pi hole, Raspberry Pi that is a DNS hole for the commercials. It's awesome. It makes all my mobile games not work because I cannot do add pre-roll to get more coins because we block them as well.
But doesn't that break the game? As in, you don't need to watch the pre-roll; it will give you the credits right away. Or did they? They did build in some kind of.
It's built in, dude. It's just.
That's too bad. My wife was playing a game. Don't ask me which game. But she found a bug in the game that if at some point you went back and then again, then you could get the bonus like unlimited times. So she had like thousands of coins, or not sure what that game was using in that app because of that bug, and they still haven't fixed it.
I went into an extremely deep Sudoku hole again. It's just.
Does that on the pile? Does it also work with YouTube commercials?
Yes.
Because I watch a lot of YouTube, Basically, all night I watch YouTube.
You have a daughter, so
Yeah, as well.
you have
Yeah.
so
She watches a lot. But I just took a trial subscription to YouTube Premium.
the big one or the small one? There are two, right? There is the big
Yeah.
one, €10, and there is small one, €7. The big one gives you it's a little bit of a difference between
No,
them.
so the small one, I don't think it's available here. It's only like
Oh,
one.
okay.
So you have a student's version, a normal version, and a family
Oh,
version.
yeah.
But the family version, it's like €25 or something. You can get 5 persons on there. But I think for what you get, okay, you get the YouTube exclusive content. Not sure if anyone tried to watch the YouTube exclusive content, but it's not very exciting.
I use YouTube TV instead of my TV subscription, so I get access to that either way.
That's also not available in Europe. Oh,
Yeah, I know.
I got another subscription for that to watch all the Dutch TV channels and all that.
Yeah,
and then I got Netflix.
Spending money.
If you think about it, like I probably spent like 50, 60 euros a month on all those subscriptions, where in the past, when you wanted to have just only cable TV, it was like 10 euros a month. So it's really expensive.
So old man yelling at clouds. You got to have me pay so many things. I subscribe to Disney Plus. I eventually broke down and I'm doing Disney Plus.
I also have Disney Plus.
and Netflix and I don't and Amazon Prime and all of this.
So Prime is only €3 a month over here, and then it also includes the Prime shipping stuff. So you get free shipping, which is a great deal, I think. And then Netflix, that's everyone has that as well. And then we have a local Netflix type of thing, which I'm also subscribed to. So many subscriptions.
So
let's have a look.
Let's have a look. So we've been around for a while, day in and day out. So we thought we'd just go through July, and maybe June. What's new in Azure AD? What has happened in the last month or so inside of the product? So
do you want to start at the top, or do you want to go to the bottom first, the older things?
Let's start from the top. It doesn't really matter.
I know, but just choices. So if you want to read along, I'm just going to put the very short link on the screen, so you can also open the website.
Just Google Azure AD what's new, or type it into DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, or just use your favorite search engine and search for that. So this is a pretty cool. So another source that I use myself as well is the Azure AD. What is it? Is it blog?
Azure AD blog, yeah.
That has a lot of also new stuff that comes out, but it is a little bit more like there's a whole story behind it, and also there are some other things here that are not like part of the product, but are basically new documentation, new white papers, recommended practices are all on here. But I already spent an episode going through this blog, so let's just leave it for there.
So for those that don't know, the way our team does announcements, we order them in 3 tiers. Tier 1s are basically the things that are market breaking, big announcement of releases of big new features, GA milestones, new public previews. These are tier 1, and these go on a blog always.
Yep.
Tier 2 are basically product changes, bug fixes, big bug fixes, big announcements about best practices. These are tier 2, and tier 3 are basically bug fixes only. So there will be a couple of those. Tier 2 and 3 always show up in release notes.
Yeah, you can see latest release, known issues, bug fixes, and deprecated functionality. I also think that's an interesting one to maybe cover.
We'll come to that.
Okay, so it's updated monthly. So there
wasn't an August one. The August one shows up at the end of the August.
Exactly. We all went on vacation, so it's so the first thing that's new is the Google sign-in integration for Azure AD B2C and B2B self-server sign-up, and invited external users will stop working starting July 12th. I'm not sure who's writing these.
So
headers,
I'm one of those affected tenants because I have a self-service. I have basically CISU policy in Google that is used both for Google Federation and for my B2C tenant. And I also got a notification from Google that this is
Yeah, me
going
too.
to stop working. Yeah.
I got the same. Yeah.
So the general idea is that you don't want to iframe your login pages, and Google is doing a right thing, stopping you from iframing stuff.
Yep.
And because it increases some vulnerability, so Google is straight up blocking that. We are working with Google on making that integration better. But some of those embedded web views will stop working if you have a embedded web view app that uses Google SSO. It's very limited attacks, very limited surface of breakage.
Yeah.
But it's good to know. Good thing that Google also sent out the notification. So I was really happy that both us and Google said, "Hey, shit will break."
And the Google email actually had a reference to our documentation. I was like, wow,
Yep.
someone
I know,
did
right?
good work there.
Responsible disclosure.
Exactly. So this is a good one to keep in mind. I think there's also a tool. Did Google, if I remember the email correctly, they have a tool to scan to see like if one of your application is using a web view, and it can report on that.
They report on it. The email that was sent said if you had one, if you had it already. So if you had sign-in attempts that would be broken.
So this is basically the same one, right? Google sign-in on embedded web views expiring September 30th.
Yes, basically all the app registrations in Google Apps will be shut down.
Yep.
That's used for this one. Yeah,
that's a good one too. Then we come to a few bug fixes in My Apps.
Yes.
So the banner recommending the use of collections caused content to scroll behind the header.
I remember that.
Yeah, me too.
I remember that. You were scrolling down and there was this empty thing in the top.
Yeah. It looked
ugly.
Someone updated the CSS.
For those of you that do web dev and say, how the hell do you break that kind of a CSS?
Yeah.
So right now, My Apps has 85 million monthly active users. It's some kind of exorbitant number. So the way the code changes go through that one, that would basically go onto the client side because it's JavaScript, are really, really fragile. So it's not like you just change one CSS file on one web server and you're done. It's a little bit more complex than that.
Yeah, that's always the fun thing when so many times I had people ask me like, yeah, but can you just put that button there? It will cost me like 2 minutes to do so. And then I'm like, yeah, but try to do that on a little bit larger scale and also with a lot of connected stuff and references there. Another issue, adding apps to a collection. The order of apps in all app collection would get randomly reordered. It's resolved. Yep. That's the most important thing to know.
Yeah, it broke some collections. I remember when these were called workspaces way back when, but...
Yeah, that was the first name, yeah. So new public preview of application authentication method policies.
Yes, I'm excited about this one.
Everything we're excited about, right?
So no,
you're more excited.
I don't care for B2B, honestly.
Okay, so we skip over that and let's go into authentication. Right. But this is the core, right? Authentication. So
yes, this one basically is when you create a service principal. And you attach a password to that service principal, an admin can say your password or secret for that principal cannot be longer than X, cannot be longer than three months, right? Some of you, when we go back to the June release notes or May release notes, we stopped allowing unexpiring secrets for service principals in the portal. People were yelling at us. Turns out, I asked around, it wasn't that much yelling. People just always use the longest one in the portal. If there was no never, they just accepted it. I thought it would be a bigger scream. But this one is an administrative control to prevent someone from setting a very long expiring secret, because those secrets can do a lot of damage.
I know. I just created a 2-year secret in my lab environment. But if that ever get like out of there, you have credentials that can be used for 2 years. So it's better to mitigate that and then to have a policy around
risky
that.
sign-ins for service principals are really close. I just saw I just saw the mock-up of the algorithm. It looks awesome.
I saw someone. I'm just remember that I saw someone post on social, I think on Twitter, that they created a logic app to automate the rollover of
Yep.
Of those credentials. That's something you can do using the API.
If
as
it
well.
moves scripted, if you're too lazy to script it, use Power Apps.
Yeah, Power Apps is very powerful. Okay, another public
But the
review.
power of Power Apps. I have the power. Watch New He-Man. It's awesome. If you have Netflix, watch it.
I haven't watched it, so it's gonna put it on the list.
Yes, it's awesome.
Nice. So Authentication Methods nudge to download Microsoft Authenticator.
I think that's the biggest preview that came out throughout the summer.
Yeah, it is. So we can now nudge people to make them switch to use the Authenticator app, right? To
Yes, sir.
do the second factor instead of text messages or phone calls.
So the idea is that when people registered for MFA way back when, the default method in the old UX starting in 2014 up until late 2019 was SMS was the default method.
Yep.
And admins had to opt out into the nicer UI for Authenticator to become the default. And honestly, instructing your users to go to ak.ms/mfa setup, register an app, and blah, 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 it's too much of a hassle. No one in real life does that. Just no one reads that freaking email from their IT. So Nudge is basically for users that are doing SMS as inline MFA. There is a policy that can be now attached to a group of users, that if user does MFA with text, they will get interrupted to register Authenticator. They got an option to skip. And if they don't skip and register for Authenticator will become the default method.
Yep.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah, this is nice. And it's also very, let's say, user-friendly, right? It just, they don't have to do that much. And and if you want to enable the policy right now, you need to go through the Graph API to enable
That's the preview part, right? The GA has
exactly
a user interface, but because we have had so many compromises through SS7 and MFA is getting worse and worse when it comes to phishing and the convenience, then it's basically, hey, you have this option, just enter the GUID of a group. You can test it on your test users, because that's one of the things that we get yelled at about a lot, that, hey, I need to be able to, I cannot do it on the entire tenant. Give me some controls.
Yeah, staged rollout, anyone? Of stage, what is stage migration? Those are those things, definitely.
It's really cool. It's just right now you just go with Graph Explorer and just patch a policy.
Yeah, it's easy. It's all in there. It's just a copy paste.
Yeah, the documentation is pretty good.
And
the snooze duration, you can modify it. So that's one of the things that you have above the MFA registration policy in identity protection. Identity protection is always 14 days or GTFO, right? Here you can say, you know what, let's give you 3 days of a snooze. And snooze is counted from the first time the user sees the interrupt.
Also a good one.
Yes.
I do remember some features that would count when you enable it as the first day. That was fun.
SSPR.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So I think this is also a very nice one. The separation of duties check. Duty in
that was exactly my reaction. Duty.
We're small children sometimes. So actually, I think I can show it.
Yes, do it.
Let me. Oh, it's just two old men talking through documentation. No, go away. So we go to identity governance, and then we have the entitlement. I think I haven't installed Zoomit, but let me zoom in a bit and then lose my menu and zoom out, and there's my menu again.
Yeah, that's fine. It looks good. I'm looking at the stream. It looks good.
Awesome. Then you have the entitlement management when you can create access packages. And basically an access package is a combination of things: group membership, SharePoint sites, applications, roles in applications that you can assign to a group of people, and they can request access to such an access package. Now, probably one thing, and this is really I heard this request a lot, the separation of duties, is that you probably don't want someone to have an access package that you can put in an invoice, and the other one that you can approve an invoice. I think that's one of the most common scenarios.
Yep.
So now we have the separation of duties. So you can say for this access package, if you have this access package, you're not allowed. You have incompatible access packages, or even groups that you can add.
Incompatible with a specific resource access.
Exactly. So when someone tries to get access to this specific access package, and one of those things they already have access to, their access will be denied to get access to that access package. So that's pretty neat. And I must say, I think it's really easy to set up. It's like just go here and define this, and then it's done. And
you just need to have a good asset inventory of your own assets.
That is exactly the one thing I wanted to point out. I think like finding that is 80%, maybe more, of the time you need to set this up, because configuring it is just such a small time that is there. So that's the separation of duties. It's duty. It's in public preview. Sorry. I should have had a caption, but no. Okay, maybe that takes it a little bit too far. So we have a public preview: identity protection logs in log analytics, storage accounts, and event hubs. So basically,
so that's a good one, because when you go into diagnostic settings of your tenant, you could always dump sign-in event logs, audit event logs, ADFS sign-in logs, and a bunch of other stuff into Event Hub or Log Analytics. So stuff like your SIEM systems and your Sentinels of the world and Splunks of the world could get access to it. But a couple of things that were missing were coming from quote-unquote identity protection bucket. So even though when you went to an Azure portal or to an API, you could see a new risk detection, right? User is considered compromised, blah, blah, blah. Those events weren't able to be pushed into Log Analytics for offline analysis. So Sentinel didn't know about them, literally, right? Your Splunk didn't know that your users were compromised. You had to do another custom Graph API connector. Now you don't have to anymore.
No, that's pretty nice.
There is another definition of events. Diagnostic settings.
Sorry, that was slow. And then I already create one. So
you can edit this one and add edit the setting and add another class of event.
And now you can also see, look, I haven't even selected them: risky users and user risk events, and also ADFS sign-in logs.
Yes, because if you have AD Connect health for ADFS, they go right there.
And then I can.
This is also a new one, I think, from May.
I by the way, I had someone on social media as well asking about password protection events to be streamed.
They are regular event logs for audit.
No, we
they're just regular events.
So just use the Azure Arc, or what is it, the agent, and send the regular events to your storage. Then you can see that as well. So public preview, application proxy API edition for backend SSL certificate fair validation.
This one blew my mind.
This is actually also new to me. So tell me, I want to learn.
So imagine you have application proxy, right? You put an application proxy connector that proxies to a web app that uses SSL on the backend. Up until this one was a thing, app proxy would do absolutely zero validation of that certificate on the backend. It could have mismatched DNS name. It could have been revoked, improper CRLs, or CRLs. Again, and the big daddy was if someone DNS hijacked your host. And it pointed to another server, and SSL certificate. It would just it just works.
Sounds like a
like an airplane
for men in the middle.
So if someone
Well,
man in the middle you, yes, that would be a big
yeah,
deal.
exactly.
Someone asked about it sometime in May. The private preview has been going on for a while. So basically, you can slap on a property on app proxy app. All new app proxy apps created since August 1st have this one turned on by default.
Good.
So you
That's
cannot
exciting.
use self-signs anymore unless you override it.
Maybe is this going to be like proactive communication to current customers that
It
aren't
doesn't.
aware?
The existing apps cannot be changed. If customers want to enable that validation, they have to go and change the resource on an app object, the on-premises
Ooh.
publishing resource.
Okay, I
We
see.
literally cannot change existing configuration, right?
Yeah.
Recently, I've been working with a team that we had a bug in conditional access UI that created a conditional access policy that had too much information in it, and that made conflicted with continuous access evaluation. So it literally broke 20 tenants on the planet.
Oh,
We
wow.
couldn't edit the conditional access policy. So what we did, we temporarily disabled issuance of continuous access evaluation tokens for them. And we notified them, hey, if you want to get CAE, that preview thing, because in preview we get more leeway about stuff.
Yep.
But it happens. That's why you're taking dependency in production on a public preview. Sometimes not a great idea.
No, yeah, that's what we tell people, right? Even though it's a public preview and it's almost GA ready,
It's
still
supported,
change.
but it can change. So it was the same thing with the device state condition in conditional access, right? It changed. I don't know if you've been out for a month. So the device state condition is no longer in CA policies. It's nowhere to be found. It got replaced.
Really?
Yes.
It's okay.
Go and see.
Security, conditional access. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
One of the policies and look at the device state. Instead of the device state, there is device filter in conditions. On the very bottom, device filter for devices. Now there is a filter.
Which one?
On the very bottom, you have
I
filter.
See filter for. Yeah, I
click
see.
it. Click it.
Oh wow!
It's not no longer include hybrid join, exclude hybrid join, and compliant. It's a full-on regular expression language for filters and devices. And some customers said, "Hey, I use that." You can still do it, but it's more complex because we give you more flexibility.
Yeah, you can just do the same, right? You can say it's compliant.
Include and exclude, right? It's include and exclude because it used to be only exclude. You could only exclude specific device class.
And this is also great for SAW workstations, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the use case. That's one of the use cases. So you can say if your device is not in the group of or tagged with a, hey, this is a SAW, block.
Yeah, nice.
For this specific group. Yeah, exactly, right?
Cool.
This is
you can
cool.
also block personal. Oh, this is really cool.
This one, device ownership comes from Intune.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's what I guessed. It's really cool.
So it changed a lot, right?
Yeah. So we haven't announced it yet?
It came in August. So it might have gone to the blog. I don't know.
No, I haven't. So I went to the whole blog yesterday, but I haven't seen this one. So that's nice.
Yes. This one is really cool.
I'm gonna remember this.
We had a bug for a while when where Intune portal blades for conditional access would still show the old experience. Azure portal and AAD portal would show the new one. So Intune admins didn't know that it was going to change.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I heard something about this, but it was not like an announcement. It's cool.
Yeah. It's cool.
So we have a GA announcement, improved authenticator setup experience for Azure AD account and Microsoft Authenticator app by directly signing into the app. So instead of I'm accessing Azure AD or an Azure AD protected resource on my phone, I get a QR code, but I need to scan it with my phone. How do I do that? You now just can sign into the app. That's it, right?
Yep.
Cool. So
you put in your username and password, yeah.
And then we also GA'd Manager as reviewer in Entitlement Management access packages. So just quickly show it. Go to Identity Governance.
You are spending way too much time with Peter.
Yeah, use the governance. Where were we? How access
If you go
reviews?
into access reviews, you can go
Yeah.
into properties of an access package, and there will be an access review there as well.
Yeah, that's the same type of thing. And then can I? Oh, this is.
No, you have to create when you go into settings of an
Yeah,
access package.
that's it.
There is an access review there. There is a policy attached to an access package.
Yep. Edit. And
life cycle.
yeah, and now you can say manager. That's
yes,
the one.
that's the radio button. Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. So that one went GA. Enable external users to self-service sign up in Azure AD using MSA accounts is now also generally available.
So you had a very extensive. You had a very extensive show about CISO and external identity. So basically, we are getting a built-in Xbox Live account option.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and that session you can watch it on our YouTube channel, right?
Yes, sir. ak.ms/425show/YouTube. Oh, Christos, buddy, how's it going?
Hello. another person woke up in the Seattle area.
I know. Christos, he's Greek, so he gets up at 6 a.m. So.
People who get up at 6 a.m. really. I only get up at 6 a.m. if I have a jet lag. That's the only time. Otherwise,
my dog hates me. She wakes me up at 5:30 a.m. every day.
5:30. Oh, just as Christmas for my workout. I just work out at night. I went for a run yesterday evening.
I have a Daniel solution for you. You don't work out ever. Look at me. Look at me. Ta-da!
Yeah. I work out to compensate for other stuff. Okay, so that one, and then we have the external identity self-service sign up with email one-time passcode.
Yeah, basically all the external identity stuff, self-service sign up went GA.
Nice. And then Crystals, you also work out at night. Man, you must be like in such a good shape. I work out.
He isn't.
I just run 2 times a week and then do some weightlifting once a week. That's it.
It's because you're old, Christos. It's because you're old.
Yeah, I'm still fat and old.
So throughout the summer this year, 1 inch.
Wow.
2 centimeters because of all the stress. My hairline is receding like crazy.
I decided to grow my hair a little bit longer. I used to have like this little spikes to grow my hair longer as long as I'm able to. So that's
it's just my hairline is receding. So
poor you. Is SUED causing all this stress?
No, it's personal life. It's pandemic, grief, death, destruction, climate change, all that stuff.
Middle East.
It's never about the work. Yeah, Middle East.
Yeah. So anonymous token detection, my favorite word in identity protection, is now GA. So time active and authentication for an unfamiliar IP address is now a new, or was already in preview, but it's now GA.
So basically, if you have someone doing pen testing on your tenant and they want to do token replace, identity protection will find it if the token replay is from sufficiently unfamiliar circumstances. Yep. So if someone is replaying it from a workstation or an IP address that they had a successful attempt in the past, it will not pop out. But if you replay it from Uzbekistan, it will pop out.
There you go. Oh, that's a great detection. That has been one issue, right? Stealing someone's token and then reuse them. So
it's still an issue. So So last week we also made a change. Mm-hmm. So you might have seen in sign-in logs that message MFA was satisfied by either claim in the token or registered device. It's MFA was satisfied by a claim in the token. Basically, MFA was done. We have this in refresh token. MFA satisfied by a registered device was a little bit stronger. Basically, if you MFA during Azure AD join, that user would never be prompted on MFA on that device ever. That MFA satisfied by a registered device, we shut it down last week.
Ooh.
Yes. So, more prompts.
I was about to say that. How many people called support about all the prompts that they're
None.
Oh,
That's the thing. None.
Good that we don't do that anymore, by the way, because a registered device doesn't give you any like certainty.
There was a specific attack surface and it changed. I don't think there is even going to be a release note on that.
No, I guess so. It's
but really fun. I like this. I like that. Basically, that big of a persistence shouldn't be happening. I like it. So yeah, general availability.
Yep, register or join devices in conditional access. So this is basically like when you register for MFA. Oh, for device registration, you can control the MFA
user
policies.
action in conditions.
So let me now do something which has nothing to do with governance and show that. Security, conditional access. Let's grab a policy. And you can say
apps or user
actions, and then go to user actions, and you can say you can target register or join devices.
This one G8, yes.
Yeah, so you can choose if you want to require MFA or not.
It's one of those use cases you don't need a tenant white switch to require MFA to register devices anymore if you set up your conditional access right.
It's all getting more specific.
It's mostly for bulk enrollment scenarios. So when you want to use one user to AADJ or white glove gazillion apps, gazillion devices.
Because I think in general you want to keep it on, right? That it require MFA to register a device.
Yeah. In general, yes. You want to just exclude some the device enrollment manager users or something like that.
Exactly. Okay, new provisioning connectors in Azure AD. So if you're using one of these apps, you can now provision from Azure AD. I think we're now over 100
Welcome to the stream.
provisioning. Hey.
Yes, we're looking at what's new. So let's see what's new. So these are provisioning connectors. I like those.
Yeah, I think we now have over 100.
I think 150 now.
Yeah, so something like
that.
So
we'll probably will be putting a little bit of a break on the provisioning connectors for now because we had a couple of bugs. So basically, unless a vendor can prove to us that, hey, I have like 5,000 active users on my app for SSO, then just, let's do the provisioning. Unless there is an escalation, you know how it goes.
Yeah, it makes sense. And if your app is supporting SCIM, then you can even create your own provisioning outbound from Azure AD to that app.
Yeah, it just being in the gallery creates some default mappings and stuff. So when you onboard to a gallery,
it makes your life a little bit easier.
A little bit as a user, for sure.
Yeah. So changes to security in Microsoft 365 group.
This one is fun.
Settings in Azure portal. In the past, users could create security groups. Now users will have the ability to create groups across the Azure portals. Are required to verify and update. Okay, tell me about it. You think it's fun, so I want to learn.
Go into your tenant settings. Go into your tenant and go into section for groups, and there will be group settings. Groups, general. So these two buttons, right?
Yeah.
On the very top, users can create security groups in Azure portal API. So before that change, that setting affected only M365 portals. So even if you set it to no, someone that knew how to do PowerShell or ARM, they could still create groups.
Okay. Yeah.
So what happened? People that had this one set to no, after the change got rolled out, their setting got flipped back to yes. That's why it says you should verify the setting because the thing that you used to have in the past.
So now suddenly everyone can create all kinds of groups. There you go.
Yeah. So that's why.
That's a very good one to look after when you're an administrator, just to check if this is still in the right position.
Yeah.
As you, of course, documented it.
Because, yes, it's documented. I've seen a couple of people, again, yelling on Twitter about it. So.
Oh, yeah, nice. It's always fun on Twitter.
WTF wouldn't you, if I set it to no, why wouldn't you just tighten it up a little bit? But we couldn't afford that breakage. There is it's not an excuse, maybe like a reason, but
it's finding that balance right somewhere. Yeah.
Yep.
A huge one, very huge. All apps has been renamed to apps.
Yeah. Control H on a source code.
Yeah. I'm very curious to learn like what is the I can so as the product evolves, apps is a more fitting name for this default collection. Uh,
Yep.
so this basically indicates that there's maybe something coming, which makes more sense if this is called apps. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I should like
I
speculate.
have no clue
on
what
things.
you're talking about, so I'm
No,
not even
so
playing them.
oh, now you're the one there playing them. No, but, like we're renaming all apps to apps, and it is because the product evolves that we renamed it, because it's not like a huge thing or something, but yeah,
No.
it's just like how things are written down. And
Yeah,
then we're
I would love if someone could you would able to be launching mobile apps, not only web apps from the panel.
yeah,
That's my pie on the sky dream, right?
yeah, there are a few things that, but we have a list, right, of stuff that we can
Oh, the list is
improve.
long. The list is very
Yeah,
long.
I know, but we're hiring. Go to jobs.microsoft.com.
Careers.microsoft.com.
Careers, sorry, that was it. Yeah. You see, I haven't been there for 8 years. So. Cool. So I think we went through the whole July new stuff.
Yes. Yep.
Um,
I think we have one more thing to cover, right? The PowerShell thingy.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me just get the link, because that's a very, very important one that you should keep in mind. Is okay. I don't have
Crystals,
the link.
the August update will show up at the end of August. They always get released at the end of the month.
Yeah. So deprecation of the ADOL library, but also the Azure AD graph. So we used to have a separate graph endpoint, which is called the Azure AD graph, and then we merged that into the Microsoft graph. So it will make your life a lot easier. So you don't have to query multiple graphs to just get someone's first name and mailbox. And now we're gonna deprecate the Azure AD graph and the ADOL library. And there are alternatives. You have the MSAL library and the Microsoft graph. And the date for deprecation is going to be June 30th, 2022. But keep in mind, since the end of June, so June 30th, 2020, which was last year, we're not adding any new features to the ADOL library or the Azure AD graph. So you should switch to the Microsoft Authentication Library, or switch from the Azure AD graph to the Microsoft graph, which actually yesterday I changed the script. I'm not going to name any names, but which is still using the Azure AD graph, and modified it so it could use the Microsoft graph, which was really easy to do, to be honest. It depends on your script. It's basically like the versioning is at a different spot, and it's different URL, and we grab the tenant ID from the token, so you don't need to specify it in the URL. And I think those are the main things. But there's a documentation on how to migrate and what you need to do. Also, what are the benefits? So, for example, if you want to use device-based authentication, so that you want to use that nice device conditional access thing that we showed, that only works when you are using the MSAL library, not with the ADOL library. And there are a few other things as well. So very, very important. If you're using ADOL or the Azure AD graph, move away from it ASAP to the Microsoft graph and the MSAL
what
library.
about those folks that don't know that they are using Azure AD graph? Because I'm willing to bet my left pinky that we have multiple people that use Azure command line interface, Azure CLI.
Yep.
Or they are using ARM PowerShell, or they are using Azure AD PowerShell module, or MS Online PowerShell module for those old school IT pros that have been using it since 2012.
Yeah. There are alternatives, but if you don't know it, it will just stop working.
No, so the real answer is Azure AD PowerShell will be gone next year.
Yep.
It is getting replaced with Microsoft Graph PowerShell, the get MG user, get MG group, get MG application, and all of those specific modules, which get auto-generated from Microsoft Graph. Azure AD PowerShell and Azure AD Preview PowerShell will be mostly gone as well. Azure CLI and ARM CLI and Azure PowerShell that uses the old graph has a mandate to move on by end of March. We'll see how it goes.
Always exciting.
I'm optimistic. Those teams are really good about moving APIs and stuff. And MS Online PowerShell, I'm not optimistic at all. I think it will stick around for a while because there are a bunch of things that cannot be moved to Microsoft Graph anytime soon.
Exactly, there are still things in the MSOL PowerShell module that are not available on any other endpoint. Yep.
Get MS Online organizational config.
Yeah, exactly.
Get MS All domain federation settings.
Yep. It's well, let's hope that team will deliver.
Because it uses super old API that is called Back Web Services, which is BPOS Extensible Console Web Services. So that PowerShell was created for BPOS.
Wow.
It's proto Office 365.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yes, 2012, literally. Some of those APIs have been alive longer than for over a decade. Yeah. So,
cool.
But it looks cool.
At some point, you need to change and move forward, right? So that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So the PowerShell situation is going to be fun in the next year or so.
Let's see how much people will complain on Twitter about that stuff.
They will. But our boss's boss basically said, hey, Graph will break. Everything else, we'll see.
Yeah, that's how it will go. Let's see. Yeah. Cool. Okay, I think we're through.
So what do we have for next week? You said we are having a guest.
Yeah, we have a guest. We have. Oh, give me a sec. I don't have his name at hand, but we're gonna talk about security. And
Mr. Simos.
Yeah, Mark
Simos. Okay. Yeah. So cybersecurity next week, y'all.
Yep, definitely. I think a great topic. So yeah, that's next week. Same place, same time, and hope to see you there.
Yeah. So great to have you back, sir. I hope I don't have to replace you with another Dutch.
You have options with other Dutch that could.
I know. So I don't know if you heard, but Hugh is joining Microsoft.
Yeah, I saw the announcement, and now he took a break from Twitter.
I know. Good for him.
Yeah,
and he said he doesn't like doing live streams and podcasts. I asked him to be on the show. He said, I don't enjoy it. I said, dude, not a problem.
No,
but yeah.
we got some other guests scheduled as well. We have some of our partners also going to be on the show soon, and we will have a look at more guests. So the only thing we need
I think I will have another Dutch because Ruud recently did about bug bounty for Azure APIs. And I think we might do a show about how to get bug bounty money from Microsoft.
That is an interesting one. Yeah, I like that. Go reach out to him and get him on the show.
He's on vacation. All Dutch people apparently go on vacation in August, so I don't know why.
That's because of the school vacations they're during this time. So that's the whole country is almost shut down during these weeks.
or a Belgian, Michael van Honerbeck, probably.
Also fun. Yeah. So Belgium.
And I will call him Dutch to his face, so he will get mad at me.
Oh yeah, let's do that. That would be fun. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna raid the channel. Basically,
you raid. I still don't have permissions.
Yeah. So Coded Live. It's gonna be. I'm gonna click on Start Raid, and then it's gonna count down 8, 7, 6, 5 something seconds, and then we will all see you again. Hopefully next week, same time, same place. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. We're right in.